Hi there, I'm Peter Scalpello. I'm the author of Limbic, which is a poetry collection published by Cipher Press. And I'm so delighted that Limbic has been chosen as the poetry selection for the Lighthouse Bookshop subscription. That is very cool. Thank you so much to everyone who's read it and to the staff who selected it. Thank you, it's amazing. Um, Limbic is a collection of poetry, some poems that I've written between 2019 and 2021. Um, it's split into three categories, three sections by theme, to do with ego, elegy, and ecstasy within queer experience, particularly exploring gender and sexuality and the idea of queerness impacting a wider community, the individual experience, and the interconnectedness with like a wider familial experience and queer community. That was kind of what I was looking to explore with Limbic, and I'm going to read a few poems from the collection for you today. Thanks so much for the support, and yeah, it's amazing to see Limbic in with the titles that you've chosen this month. Thank you. The first poem that I'm going to read is called 2K12. 2K12 bred a haunting on the Mediterranean, 12 of the whitest boys you ever did see, practically see-through. The fainter the figure, the louder his shriek of epidermis and red-hot intentions never actualized. Ugh. Burdened with testosterone, I played hetero as a bisexual, blackout intimacies with mistaken mouths, the curb a rank cushion of regurgitated denial. Everything your adolescence has led up to, right? Top-heavy exchanges of skin and bravado, at all times 6 inches from an obscene six-pack. My disco fleshiness amplified to ear-splitting. The number of dicks plucked out and wiggled around for a banter of straight eyes. By fortnight's end we were pulled from the sea with new chins, nevertheless drowning in hormones and a dread not yet medicated, the kind you could drink through. I vomit from the bent of the bottom bunk, and a cockroach paddles in it, gay as you like. Didn't that holiday turn us all? This next poem is called Shetland. At the tide line, the surfacing sun overwhelms the horizon like an ingrown hair, and a fisherwoman I bothered proposes that the mackerel here thrive because when they see the scenery, they're compelled to make love. It reminds me of a couple I've recently been spending time with, who met at the memorial of a friend in '86. A generation removed, my thumb taps on chests of dads to replace my own, and assigned at birth flesh shapes that make the gulls above scream with laughter over the indelicacy of human orogeny. How one-dimensional the race for intervention of an all-out stranger must seem from up there. My handheld dreamland, the realistic sea beneath us, winking. Ode to Tracksuit. My hungered polyester thighs show you no mercy, if you can even fathom my shape through all this rustle. What happened to your Levi's, dude? Remember when we used to sport these bottoms as a uniform, as armour against ridicule? We grew out of this, didn't we? Remember when we donned matching shell suits and drank cider from 3-litre containers that served us almost everything we needed to be able to swallow our attractions and get with the girls by the river, between dregs forming fag holes? I know you remember when we ruined our friendship by circling the inside of each other's cheeks with underdeveloped tongues. The rub of that nothing fabric was like touching skin, and my crotch in activewear could keep nothing secret. Now you jog up to me in Dalston with the same leaden legs that fled from teenage shame, panting for what I guess is reclamation or subversion or both things, but in the form of an easily removable manliness. Remember when we donned matching shell suits and were happy to be invisible? Take off your trackies and show me what hasn't changed underneath. So this is the last poem that I'm going to read today. Thank you so much for asking me to be a part of the bookshop subscription. This is also the last poem in the book. It's called Be Your Own. Be your own. Your one seeing eye rises and sets, facing away from the mush of my 20s. A decade's worth of pills disintegrates into white particles in my blood and bile all at once. Like the weight of us remade of dust and gradually blown away at rates depending on the wind. We are not our desire, but the places we move through to satisfy it. For me, it's meant carving myself into being enough for the desires of another and you. That conflict of masculinity, itself a conflict of masculinity and femininity, elsewhere entities grabbing at the breath we leave behind. You're there as I draw out a new life, nib to nib, two spirals closing inwards like our shared prognosis. Push and give of indefinite time, the ignorance to resent what we would eventually turn into. If our fragments settle along the breeze, maybe we'd be patched back together. Till then, I can be my own daddy. Thank you.